10 people are dead, 25 are injured after a mass school shooting in Tumbler Ridge, Canada. Police have identified the shooter, but will not release details at this time for, quote, privacy reasons. So since then, they have actually released details about who this person is. It's apparently some sort of trans person. Obviously, people are going off and, as soon as, if one trans person does something wrong, that means all trans people do something wrong. We all know this, right? So, one of them fucks up, they all fuck up. So this is, basically all of the trans people went on this school shooting. So basically, 10 people got killed, and this is in Canada too. It's not even in America. It's in Canada, and it's just insane. The gunman has been identified as a trans biological male, Jesse Strang, and this apparently does seem to be the case. It is true, and this is, I guess, a photo of this person. Suspected shooter in the Detler Tumbler Ridge secondary school shot. Secondary school, isn't that like 13 to like 11 to 14, right? Because I don't know how it is in Canada, right? But I know that in secondary school here, that's like middle school, isn't it? Yeah, I think, right? Or, I mean, is it high school? I have no idea. Oh, it's high school, so it's like 14 to 18, okay. And so, yeah, wow. And so there's at least 10 dead, holy shit. And this is the person 17 years old, went on this shooting rampage. 17-year-old transsexual Jesse Strang has been identified as the Tumbler Ridge secondary school shooter. Holy fucking shit. And there have been, I do think this is also crazy that it's a Redditor that has posted videos of being violent, and on top of that, they also have posted videos of them shooting things. So this is like basically every stereotype. And I've tried to tell people, I've tried to say over and over and over, we have to get on top of these people. These weirdos that are like advocating for violence, that are talking about shooting people on the internet, everything like that. We've got to get on top of them, man. And if you don't get on top of them, they're going to go out on these shooting rampages. But here's what I think the problem is. I think that a lot of people on the internet are afraid to call this out whenever a trans person is doing it, because they're afraid of assigning a mental illness to a trans person, because they think that there's a lot of transphobia that comes as a result of a person being assigned a mental illness as being trans. So basically, they're overcorrecting and they are intentionally misunderstanding the situation and misappropriating the situation because they're afraid of their language or what they're saying to be weaponized by people that they they politically disagree with, right? It's basically like political correctness, right? So they don't want to say that this is a trans person that like is mentally ill or there's something wrong with them, because they're trying to like overcorrect from the people that say that all trans people are mentally ill and all trans people have something wrong with them, right? And so the problem is that you are not addressing and looking at things based off of what they are. You're looking at them based off of what you want them to be, or what somebody else says they are, or what you're trying to recalibrate the world into. But at the end of the day, you are misunderstanding the situation on purpose. That's it. Most of them mental illness. I don't listen. I have no problem with trans people. I've said this 1,000 times. But I do think that obviously, it's if one of them is crazy, then they're crazy. It does nothing to do with them being trans. It's to do with them being crazy. So I don't think there's really a lot of complication here. Every person who supported them being trans is underage should be jailed. Well, I mean, this is a huge issue, right? I mean, it's a massive issue whenever you have people. And there's also, I think that there's a false consensus on the internet, even between trans people, that trans people who are very underage, and by very underage, I mean people that are like under, like I'd say 15 or so, under 13, especially under 12 or before puberty, like 100%, right? A lot of trans people, I think, also object to the idea of transing children. But the reason why I think a lot of them aren't outspoken about it is because if they are, then they're getting hit from both sides, right? So you're still going to get all the people that think that you're, you're still a man, you're still a woman, you can't be this other gender, you're disgusting. And so you're still going to have all the people that hate you. And then you're also now going to have your your only community that was on your side now also hate you because you've gone against the groupthink, right? So like that's why I think a lot of trans people aren't speaking out against like underage transitioning and things like that. It's because of the peer pressure from it. Now, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying that I think this is an existing like an existing pressure that they feel. And it's just what I've observed, right? I mean, I'm not trans, I have no idea, but like I'm just, saying like, okay, this is what logically makes sense. This is why a lot of them aren't saying that. And they'll show up to vote against it. Well, maybe, right? I don't know. And so Petronicus, thanks for the gifted subs. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, man. And so, yeah, they're on top of being outcasted from their peers. Yes, 100%, right? That's fine, but we need to make all this shit illegal. Well, the problem, I agree with you, but I mean, this is also like this is in Canada, right? So in America, so this is the person who made this comment, right? And so it got Jess Uwu with Hatsune Miku as a profile picture. Uh-oh. So people think this is who the person is. I have no idea. So I'm trans, male to female. I'm pre-HRT, 15 years old. And I've been viewing a lot of anime-related content recently, and I was never into it before. The characters are always so cute. I don't want to be 2D or anything like the characters themselves, but whenever it comes to body shape and stuff, I often find myself comparing to their semi-unrealistic, yet still physically possible shape, specifically whenever it comes to height, BMI, and obviously their chesticles. I'm super skinny, so that sometimes makes me feel kind of good, but I'm also pre-HRT and my expectations are minimal for chest growth, and I'm 6 feet tall. Why can't I be petite and small? I hate to tell you this, buddy, but women are sometimes 6 feet tall too. Like, that's what happens. Yeah, that's the way it is. Like, you can't, listen, you don't have a character creator in life, okay? If you did, why the hell do you think anybody decide to be 5 feet tall, right? If it's a guy. Like, nobody, you just RNG'd into it. Like, that's the way it is. Like, there's women that are 6 feet tall. There's women that aren't, like, I mean, you have these, like, small, cute little girls, and then you have really hot, in my opinion, like, if you have a college volleyball player or something like that, a lot of them are really fucking hot. So, like, I don't think that there's really, like, I mean, do you want steak or ice cream? Well, both of them are really good, even though they're very different. So, like, really, I think that the more that you try to wish that you were a different type of person than you were, the more you're going to hate yourself, right? And so that's it. And, yeah, talkers, I'm not going to get in. Look, I mean, like, I'm not trying to get in. Like, it depends. I don't want to make anybody feel, as long as they're not fat, you know what I mean? That's what matters. But anyway, so 10 years max, Canada, they protect this. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. Why don't people want to be Joseph Joestar? I mean, I think a lot of guys do. Like, listen, I guarantee you that if you looked at the amount of guys after somebody watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, with like fucking, seasons 1 through 4, or 3 or whenever it was, right, into Stardust Crusaders, and then how many of those guys went to the gym after that? I think there would be a sizable percentage. I absolutely do. And I think that's the difference, right, is it's that mindset where it's like, okay, well, if I think this is the way I'm supposed to look, there's a way for you to look this way. Now, obviously, like, I mean, like for me, for example, right? I mean, I'm a very tall guy, but I'm also extremely naturally skinny. Like, my wrists are very small. Like, I'm a naturally very thin person. And so, like, being a big, bulky guy, that's also just probably not something that's good for my body. But, again, like, that doesn't mean you can't, have other things about yourself that look certain good ways too, right? You're just petite. Yes, in a way, right? I'm 140 pounds. And so, well, and here's the problem, right? Is somebody posted this photo of me, and I want to talk about this photo. This is a really, really big problem, okay? Where is it? Let me see. Can I find it? I can't. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, it was a photo of me looking fat, okay? That's what matters. It was a photo of me looking fat, and I totally, completely, absolutely had a crash out over this. And I just stopped eating food. I did. I stopped eating food. My stomach looked bigger than it was, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to have that happen, so I just stopped eating food. And then it went away. It was problem solved. And so you look skinny fat? Listen, here's my opinion. I think fat guys can look good. I do. I think that there's plenty of good-looking fat guys, and it's like a whole different perspective. But, like, I think there's good-looking skinny guys, but there are no good-looking skinny fat guys. That is never, ever, ever, ever a possibility. It just doesn't exist, right? But like, there's plenty of bigger guys that are chubby chaser. No, I'm being honest. Like, I see there are plenty of girls that talk about how good looking a guy is, and this guy's like 300 pounds, right? Like, I think it's about body shape and everything else, right? It's just that simple. So no good looking short guys either. I disagree with that. Look at Tom Cruise. But anyway, you know, so people are going out and they're looking at this. Never let your kids watch anime. Okay, so number one, Matt Walsh is an idiot, okay? But he also, like, if you look at an anime character and you think to yourself, I want to be that character, okay, like, you either do it or, like, I mean, there are a lot of friends of mine that, like, you know, started working out because of, you know, Dragon Ball Z, right? Or something like that. But other than that, no, I don't think so at all. That's just the way it is. So this person went out. Okay, so they went out and they shot out, I guess, 10 people. And this is who the person is. And what is this? Birthday. Oh, my God. So this is 13. This is who it is. The individual in the quoted post below is not the shooter. And is confirmed as shooter. He identified as transgender. Recent photo on the left, aged 14, 2021, pre-transition on the right. Oh, man. So this is likely his Reddit account. Check out my oldest son, Jesse Strang YouTube channel. He posts about hunting, self-reliance, and guns, and stuff he likes to do. And this is them. This is a video. Man. The crazy thing is that, like, he's wearing a shirt, and it's something like, it's some shirt about, like, a massacre of all these wars. And it's like, bro, like, if you're, well, how do you wear a hoodie and then now you become part of the problem? Like, how do you do this? Like, now you're the problem. Like, what is this? I don't get it. He looks like an idiot. Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. Of course he's a fucking idiot. Like, I mean, anybody that does this shit is out of their fucking mind. It's 100% him. I don't know if that's really it. Let me go back and I want to open this up off screen for an obvious reason. And let's see here, search through Reddit data. Okay, all of this should be okay. All right, yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so this is, and all of this is unconfirmed, by the way. I want to make sure this is very clear. This is all unconfirmed at this current point. So don't go and listen to what I'm saying or talking about here and be like, oh my God, this is for sure it. But right now, somebody has a identifier, and it is confirmed. Yeah, but I don't know if this website is accurate. I don't know if this website is attributing things properly, and that's really it. And if you look at this person's username, right, the user has deleted their account. So this person, for some reason, I don't know how they deleted their account, what caused this to happen. So I'll read you some of the titles that they've had here, okay? So, could someone theoretically get the effects of a substance off of the addict's urine? I think the answer to that's yes, by the way. I think it's a yes. And so there's one of them, right? Reddit did. And what is this weird red screen that pops up on mine and friends' phones whenever they're idols? Northwest Psychedelic scammed me. So, wait a minute. So this is a person that's doing drugs, too? So this is an underage trans person who is also doing drugs, and the parents are giving this person a gun? Oh, bro, like, I mean, what are we doing? What the hell is going on? Yeah, I mean, this is really bad. I mean, really, I mean, there should be a degree of accountability for this. Who the fuck does this? The parents are dead now? I don't know if they are or not. I have no idea what happened. And so to hash another asterisk make a stink. And so what's the danger on doing some sort of, I guess, DMT? This is another drug. And sertraline. This is SSRI. Man. Jesus, I have a complete mental oh my God. Holy shit. Like, bro, like, this kid is... Oh, man. Oh, my God. Is this TOS? What about this is TOS? Like, I mean, it's just literally what happened. I mean, like, what the fuck? So, antidepressant known for causing depression? So like I actually had anxiety and my doctor prescribed me sertraline and I took it a couple of times and I was like, oh, this didn't do anything. I took it and I was just like, yeah, I mean, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's a waste of my fucking time. And so I didn't even deal with it. Stronger? I don't want to take something that's going to fuck up my head, right? And it takes 2 weeks. I'll take your word for it. And I'm not trying to take anything like that. It takes weeks to have an effect. Good. And it's a good thing I never did that. So it messed my brother up bad. Yeah, I mean, he gave it to me for anxiety. I didn't want to take that shit. But yeah, I had no idea it was an SSRI. I just fucking, took it. That was it. And so I went crazy and burnt my house down the second time trying shrooms, but I have a desire to try alternatives. I just got out of the psych ward months ago, and now I'm here. I'm not schizophrenic. I got diagnosed with, yeah, right, okay. That's it? Oh, only that? Wow. And I blew up their Desert Eagle, and this is the person doing the shooting as well. Not really a big surprise. I mean, I think anybody could have expected this, right? And this is insane. And probably shouldn't. Yeah, I think so. What's SSRIs? They block different types of brain, like, I guess chemical, I think they're like chemical inhibitors with the brain, and it fucks up the way a person thinks, right? That's basically what it is. Antidepressants, yeah. And, but I'm talking about like how they affect the, what do you call it? How they affect the brain. But I don't know about like all the specifics. I'm not a doctor, obviously. First time trying on makeup, and so obviously this is really what it was. Apparently it got deleted. Do I have a good build type for HRT? And this was 15 years old. This was in 2023, so all the timelines would track, especially because it's just the beginning of the year. And so right here, you have somebody, let me see, can I load the comments? Man, are you okay? r/trans guns. Man. And now everything got deleted. Wow. Geez, this one looks pretty bad, guys. Take depression seriously, though. It was for anxiety. I get anxiety sometimes, just be honest, I do. But, you got to deal with it, same as everything else. Yeah, what is this here? They scrub the evidence? A lot of social media companies do this. They do it very regularly. Every social media company basically deletes all the information whenever one of these accounts is discovered to be by a shooter or something like this. So, this is just a person saying all this stuff, and, like, again, it's really, really bad that somebody is like, this is not the Reddit account of a person who is a reasonable individual, right? And I do think that there's a huge issue with this. 100% him. Wouldn't be surprised. I'm super skinny. And this is apparently a picture of this person. I don't know. Again, like, photos like this get posted regularly, and a lot of times it's hard to know who's who, or, if this is even a real person, but that's what some people are saying, that's who it is. So, where's the rest of it? Are there reasonable people on Reddit? Yeah, they usually get downvoted. The moderators of Trans Guns have deleted the post from the Canadian school shooter. What even is the subreddit for Trans Guns? Like, let me see if I can pull this up. Trans Guns. A message from the mod team. Okay, here we go. So we're going to see what the mod team has said about this situation, okay? Let me go back, see if there's anything else. And no, okay, posting targets today. Yeah, good. All right, so they've come out with a statement about this. Some of you are wondering why you can't comment or post at this moment. We've turned on some of the enhanced filtering tools temporarily because of an influx of hatred directed at this community from allegations that the tragedy at the Tumbler Ridge School was committed by a former member here. Regardless if that person actually was a member or not, we want to come out and say a team here at Trans Guns does not condone hate, and we would like to see a global net decrease in violence. Trans Guns believes in increasing empathy, remembering your fellow person, and to give back when you can. Firearms aren't the only form of community defense. If an individual cannot follow firearm safety rules, they should not own a firearm. If you're struggling, please help. Please seek help. So, again, I don't know really. I mean, this is all like, yeah, feed the unhoused. A great way to exercise empathy and give back to your community. I mean, I don't think that this, I mean, maybe this is like a hot take, but like, I don't think trans guns is a problematic subreddit, right? I mean, it's definitely a little bit eyebrow raising. It's a little eyebrow raising, but like, I don't think they should delete it, right? It's not like these people did anything wrong. Like, if I go and I look at, for example, the messages this person posted, well, I just don't think so, right? I mean, I think that you should have bias sub. Well, what my point is that, okay, let's talk about this a little bit more logically, right? So you have on Reddit, you have a lot of places on Reddit where people are openly calling for violence, people are openly advocating for killing individuals, but ironically, on the trans gun subreddit, I didn't see any of the comments on this post that was doing that. Not a single one of them was doing that. So whenever I look at what people are doing, instead of creating guilt by association, why can't we just look at guilt? These people clearly aren't saying or doing anything wrong. They're not doing, and yes, I understand that there's a second order effect of this, absolutely, but why don't we focus on the first order effects first? It got deleted? No, you're not looking here. So if you see right here, you'll see that these are posts that were made and they were deleted recently in 2026. This is an archive website, so it's not showing the comments in real time, it's showing what they were. So if they deleted the posts before, they had the threads before? Yeah, they did. And that's why all the 2023 ones are still here. It's because very clearly, what do you call it? Very clearly, like, the new ones got deleted, but the older ones did not. It's because trans people know they're already on the edge of a knife. Meanwhile, liberal white Karens got to go hog wild. Yeah, I mean, again, like, I feel like if you're a trans person, your life is probably more in danger than if you're a white liberal Karen. I think that's definitely true. You know, I think that these are all, like, very, very low probabilities of something bad actually happening to you. But, like, in general, yeah, sure, there's a lot more hostility towards that. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. My point is that there is a huge problem where, oh, actually, let me figure out. He was in a trans forum where he discussed his violent fantasies. Transgenders are a terrorist group. What is this here? I find it addictive. It's hard to not watch violent content. I'm just drawn to it. I don't think much of it. Though to say it doesn't affect me is likely naive. Though I'm subconsciously doing it, it just doesn't feel like a big deal. I'm drawn to substances too. So this basically like plays into this person's, it being their Reddit account, right? You can clearly see it's more likely that it's this person's Reddit account. And it's easy to get high and just zone out into videos and this stuff. Does it impact my mental health? Well, question answered. Yeah, mine's already probably fucked. I tried to stray away from watching this kind of thing because it really sucks me in. It's a massive and less time dump and massive useless time dump, but I never really saw any benefit. I think retards in the comment section are more bothersome mentally than the videos that I try not to interact with dorks XD. And so this is a person that's going out there and, you know, saying this stuff. This is obviously like nutball stuff, right? It's recognized as watch people die, not a trans forum. It's a gore site. I mean, the truth is that, and here's the main issue, is that we need to have more red flags and more different ways that the government is able to find these people proactively. I think that right now, the society has a huge stigma and is really afraid of doing any sort of proactive law enforcement. So, like, whenever you see a person who's talking about shooting everybody, and then they're showing videos of buying guns, and then they're saying that they're mentally ill, and then they're also saying that they're doing drugs, and this is all while they're underage, like, that's a lot of red flags, isn't it? So really, you should just go after this person and take their guns away immediately and maybe put them in an insane asylum. This person's clearly dangerous. And this is the big issue that I have with it, is that whenever you don't hold these people accountable, you will have these people go off and just go on shooting rampages and pop off and go crazy and everything. So, and this is also, keep in mind, this is in Canada. Everybody always blames America for these shootings, but these things happen all over the world. And to the extent that the Western world and the world at large doesn't treat these people like the imminent threat that they are, then you will just have this happen. It's kind of like whenever you have a person that's putting bullets into a chamber of a gun, and they're standing in front of you and they're saying they're going to shoot you. If you shoot them before they shoot you, are you the bad guy? Well, somebody could say, oh, well, they didn't shoot you yet. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. So it's always easy for people to make these like virtuous moral arguments, but at the end of the day, those arguments leave 10 people dead. Oh, 25 injured. Okay, so like this is 25. After a woman wearing a dress, that's what they said. It's a mental health crisis, not a crime one. I think that it's both, right? Because mental health turns into a crime. So like you have a mental health problem and then you go out and you commit crimes. So that's what happens. It's very, very simple, actually. And where is this here? Matt Walsh, quote, tweets a person. So a person that posted a person's adult content without permission as a form of targeted harassment. The account now always has 50K followers. Many of them are underage. I don't even really know. Oh, wait. So the Vosh subreddit got mad at Matt Walsh for saying this 3 years ago, but he turned out to be ridiculously right. Wow. How about that? So, I'm going to pull you up because I always see this comment, and I think it annoys me. This comment annoys me, and so you're going to get pulled up. Why do you think this is a false flag? What's your logic in this? You're making this random assumption that it's a false flag. How have you arrived at this conclusion? So I'm just curious, right? Because like a lot of this just doesn't make sense. The timing is very coincidental. What do you mean the timing is coincidental? What do you mean by that? Please be specific. Like I want to understand this. Trust me, I watch the Bondi stuff. I am. We're building up to it. That's, in my opinion, I think that's a much bigger story than some fucking idiot in Canada shooting up a school, right? I mean, like, really, it's much, much bigger story. But this is just another fucking instance of a retard. Never said I was sure. I said it seems like one. I didn't... I know that you aren't sure. Why do you think it seems like one? Stop being vague. Why are these people always so vague? Yes, what do you mean by this? I already wrote you out. Yes. Banner retard? No, I'm just curious, right? Rage baiting you? It is. It's the Epstein news, of course. Why would this seem like a false flag? So you think because Epstein happened, anything that happens during Epstein's a false flag? So anything that happens while something else is happening is instantly a false flag? Like, think about it for 3 seconds, man. Like, I don't even get it. Like, I mean, do you think crime is just, like, not going to happen while there's a controversy? Like, that's literally it. So you think that because the Epstein files are coming, and also very few Canadians are even really implicated in this. It's not even logical. And on top of that, wouldn't this even make it worse? Because this is the exact thing that Epstein was saying about transing kids and then subjecting them to, like, other types of weird traumas as a child. So if anything, this would be drawing more attention to the Epstein files. Like, didn't you read them? Like, this is, I mean, just think about this. Like, think about this logically. Like, what is this? It's just this conspiracy, like, again, it's just, I hate that kind of stuff. I do. They responded again. It's likely not a false flag. It's just coincidental that a trans shooting happens suddenly. What do you mean happens suddenly? Do you know how many trans shootings we've had in the last year? It's been like 7. Like, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Look. I mean, all of these people are, like, I mean, non-binary, gender fluid, trans, and I think probably 1 or 2 of these are uncertain, right? But, yeah, I mean, like, 7 out of what, though? A lot? I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of these. I don't even know what you would even say. How many of these mass shootings happen per year in the States? I don't know. I mean, like, the thing is that school shootings are they're misreported. So there are shootings that are near a school that are not really school shootings. There's just a shooting that happened near a school that has nothing to do with the children. The children weren't the target, etc. But like a lot of people that are anti-gun and want to implement gun control, what they do is they misrepresent those statistics intentionally so they can make it seem like these things happen much more often. Now, I'm not saying that guns don't have problems and people don't get killed by them, but the way that the data is reported is intentionally deceptive. That's really my point here, right? And that's the norm in the United States. Well, it's actually extremely rare. And so the mother of Jesse Strang was a hardcore trans rights activist who wanted transgender children. She was murdered by her mass murderer son, who began transitioning as a child. Oh my God. Good people don't spend their time harassing marginalized communities. No, they spend their time apparently shooting up schools. How about that? Just like your son. Wow. Killed his brother too? Is that true? Yeah, I mean, there it is, and she's dressed up like a clown. I think that's pretty accurate, because now she's dead. This is what happens whenever you... And how much do you want to bet that... Because, again, I don't have any sympathy for these people. I don't. Because what you did is you enabled a person to go out there and kill... You drugged up your kid... You drugged your kid up, and you put them on SSRIs, you let them do drugs, and you gave them a gun. And you were letting them think that they were another gender as a child. Like, and then they kill you? That's what happens. You shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have done this. Like, you're a moron. Like, why would you do this? Like, yeah, it's child abuse. Exactly. Like, you basically, like, you hop this kid up on a bunch of drugs, crazy ideologies. He flies off the handle, and that's what happens. It's sad. I don't feel any sympathy for them at all. I feel sympathy for the families that have been killed, and the people that were killed that had nothing to do with this. Really, like, I mean, again, like, people make this and honestly, I feel worse for the kid that did the shooting than I do for her. She's the adult. She should be the one knowing this. But instead, she gassed this up and led her son to believe all of this crazy shit, let him drug himself up, take other illicit, illegal drugs, and on top of that, allowed him to have a gun, and then he went out and killed them. Bro, like, this kid is at a degree. I mean, there's a reason why you're a legal guardian. You are supposed to be protecting your kid. You're supposed to be taking care of your kid. Did you do that? No, you didn't. And you and he paid the ultimate price. And so did a lot of other people. I hate these people. They are so evil. They are so evil and so wrong and so bad. And the reason why it makes me so angry is the fact that they do it under the illusion of empathy and virtue. They are the farthest thing from empathy and virtue. They are getting other people killed so they can feel good about themselves. Makes me so fucking annoyed. My pet lion ate my arm. Feel bad for me? Yeah, exactly. Like, I let a venomous snake out in my house and I thought it would be okay, and then it bit me, and now I'm like fucked up. Well, that's what you get. You shouldn't have done it. How do your kids get clearly inappropriate antidepressants? Don't get me wrong, the parents 100% wrong, but shouldn't these professionals have understood? No, they shouldn't understand, because the problem is that a lot of parents, whenever they don't get the correct medication for their kid, they just go to another doctor until one of them gives it to them, right? Now, I'm not saying the doctor has no accountability here, but like, here's really the tier list, right? So, right? This is just my opinion. Number 1 is the police. Number 2, parent. Number 3 is going to be medical professionals. Number 4 is going to be school and other types of oversight. Like, you know, like school, you know, anything else, teachers, etc., right? And then I finally get down to the kid that did the shooting. That is my tier list. So he's all the way down here at number 5. Like, all of these other groups of people, I think, are way more at fault than he is. Like, because they're the adults. They're the professionals. They're the ones that need to be responsible. Oh, right. Sorry. Nope. Sorry. I forgot. Okay. Okay. All right. We're good. So, there. I'm sorry. Now it's accurate. Okay, guys? Oh, man. Perfect. Exactly. Perfectly balanced. What happened to the police? They let it happen. They let it happen. How would the police know this is going to happen before everyone else, like the mom and doctor? I mean, I'm going to pull you up. Do you think that Palantir could have detected that this person was a risk? Do you think they could have? In Canada? Do we have that in Canada, though? If you don't, why not? Ask that. If they're not using a tool like this in order to predict whether somebody is going to be a bad actor, why not? Think about that. You know, so if they could, and the thing is that, the good point, maybe you should always look at trying to have preventive, like, if you see somebody, like, here's a great example, right? If the cops see a guy, and he's outside the liquor store, and he's got a fucking gun, he's like, he's walking back and forth, and he's like pumping himself up to go inside the liquor store, the cops should just go and arrest him before he goes in the store, right? That way nobody gets shot, nothing happens, and the problem's over. Do you really think that that doesn't manifest in a similar way on the internet? No, of course not. Of course it does. Good point. Maybe we should. Yes, you need to be ahead of these people, and you need to be on top of this. So I'm going to read her comments about this, okay? We're going to see what this is what the parents said. And Fax is a conservative-leaning libertarian who lives in the North and loves living in a small town. I really hope I see the hate online as just bored old people and not true self-hatred. Do better and educate yourself before spewing online bullshit. It makes you look dumb. Evolve. Well, that's not going to happen for her. And I normally don't say anything, and I normally don't go on Shitbook to see keyboard warriors, and I know I can't control everything. What is this here? We don't have to bring our kids up in a world full of hatred. Whoops. Do you have any idea how many kids are killing themselves over this kind of hate? Please stop the bullshit. Hashtag protect trans kids. Man. Wow. What are the odds of that? Womp womp, yeah. That's what happens. And so anyway, not many cops have the courage to engage someone with a firearm. Oh no, I understand that, sure. If you refuse to write pronouns in a tweet, you get arrested in Canada. Pretty sure this could have been anticipated. Yeah, definitely. The percentage of mass killings done by trans as a percentage is actually less than the percentage of trans people in the United States. I have no idea. Like, I mean, I think that, again, even if you think that trans people are more likely to commit mass shootings, they are infinitely unlikely to do it, period. Like, this is like a less than 0.1% of trans people that are going on mass shootings. So, like, I don't think that we should assign a collective guilt to all trans people because 0.001% of them did something bad. It's just not logical. It's not. Like, I don't know how anybody would even think that. That's not true for Canada? Well, what? What are we talking about? Can we just use common sense? Let's just use logic here for like 1 second. So trans people are like 0.6% of the population, right? I think it's somewhere around there. Let me see if I can just pull this up. I can't believe I've been doing this shit because it's so stupid. But I'm going to go back and look. What percentage of the U.S. and Canadian population is trans or identifies that way? Like 0.6. Okay, I'm just gonna ask the same question again. Fucking retard. So 1%, 0.8. Okay, so 0.8, it was 0.6, right? So I said 0.6, 0.95, right? So less than 1%, about 0.3. So this is 1 in 300 people. So what is this here? Canada population. Okay, so let's just do some math here, right? Okay, let's Canada population again. Let's do it again. I don't know why it's fucked up. Okay, do it again. Do it again, slave. 41 million people. Okay, so 41 million. So basically, you're going to be looking at, let's see here. What would be, I guess, like, okay, so 41 million. So about 400,000 is, 400,000 would be 1%, right? And so you cut that in half, and it's, let's see, actually by a third. So you're looking at about 120,000 trans people in Canada, right? I mean, like, I'm just doing, like, very, very rough math. Like, this is not exactly, but it's about 120,000. So out of 120,000 trans people that have had this happen, how many trans people in Canada have gone on a shooting rampage? No publicly available data. Okay, so it's not even going to say. Okay, you think most of them? Can you imagine if it was 60,000 trans people that were going out there on murder rampages? The whole place would be chaos. It'd be insane. So they hide the data. They are hiding the data. But, like, it would come out on the news. I mean, how many news stories? Like, I mean, at the absolute most, let's say 20, right? Let's say there have been 20 trans mass shooters in the past, like, 5 years. Which, I mean, the reality is it's probably, like, 3. Or, like, maybe 5. But let's say 20. 20 out of 120,000. That's pretty fucking low. It is. That's really low. That is an extremely crazy low number. It's high per capita. I understand that it's high per capita, but that's only in the frame of reference of other capitas. Like, it's low, period. All of them are very low. All I'm saying is that, look, I don't want to argue about this, and I don't want to fight about this, because this is just a purely logical position. Very clearly that the overwhelming majority, beyond way exceeding 99.9% of trans people, do not do this. So to assign this collective accountability is ridiculous. It's just stupid. It's illogical. So anyway, I don't want to get into that any much more, but that's what I think. And then you have her, and again, all of this stuff, by the way, is, let me see if I can even pull up her account. Jennifer Strang, 8602. I'll make sure I've got it. Okay, that's good. So this is her account. Yeah, this could be it. Okay, so it is real. And we don't know whether this is actually her or not. Keep in mind, we don't know that. But this is something that she had posted. And Sheesh and Trump's son said bullets were only flying one way. I'm glad I'm not far right or far left. Political extremism, blinded by rage, is mental. Man, how about that? And so she's posted, Charlie Kirk's killer is Tyler Robinson, 22 white Mormon, a retired sheriff's son, and a gun enthusiast who once wore a Trump costume. He confessed and surrendered, saying he personally disliked Kirk after days of saying MAGA blaming the left. So this is a person who's trying to, like, rationalize Charlie Kirk getting shot, and apparently now she got shot. Well, that's what happens. So yeah, and Mother probably celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. I mean, I don't know about that. I'm not going to say probably, right? But, like, she does seem like kind of the person that would do that, if you want me to be honest. I do think so. So yeah, that's the mother. Yeah, exactly. And again, remember, for a commitment to love and sexualizing children. Huge fucking mistake, man. Massive fucking mistake. And yeah. Wait, she was killed? Yeah, the son killed her. And great timing for the gun buyback program. Yeah, maybe, right? And funny how she didn't mention he was also a furry lover freak. There's nothing more ironic than trans people complaining about harassment. It's not collective accountability, like they're all guilty. It's simply recognizing this group is more likely to be violent. Well, I think that here's what the problem is, right? And I was talking about this earlier, is that the big issue with these trans shooters is that you're right that some of these trans people are like very violent. I've seen pictures of it, and you know, again, they don't have a monopoly over it, but I think that there is like kind of a lack of accountability for it. I think that people don't want to call out, you know, basically aggressive, hostile, bad behavior by trans people because they don't want to be seen as if they're a person who is, you know, like assigning a mental illness to a trans person, because they think that if they do that, that's like being transphobic. So they're it's basically like political correctness that is effectively like not allowing people to, you know, talk about this for what it is. So yeah. The trans people aren't violent. Violent people are violent. The shifting blame on beliefs and culture is annoying. Well, here's a great example of it, okay? So I'm going to compare this to Islam, okay? So basically, one of the big issues right now is that inside of Europe and inside, yeah, just Europe in general, you have radical Islamic crazy people that are out there radicalizing the population. These are people who got kicked out of the UAE. These are people who got kicked out of Saudi Arabia. They got kicked out of Qatar, and they're going over to, instead of there, radicalize people over in Europe. So the big issue of what happens is that you have these people that basically now they're, what do you call it? Sorry, I kind of, for some reason, the music really confused me. I'm going to have to skip ahead, okay? Apologies. And so, it's hard for me to have a comparison. Yes. So basically, they don't want to go after extremist radical Islam in Europe because they're afraid of being called Islamophobic. So you have this weird inversion where you think that the Middle Eastern countries are actually practicing, in some cases, and permissive of less extremist Islam than Europe is. And it's like, what a weird place to be in. And it's so bad that the UAE doesn't even want its own citizens going to Europe anymore to get educated because they're worried that their kids are going to get radicalized from Europe. These are guys that are living in the Middle East. This is a Muslim country, and they don't want them to get radicalized by foreign Muslims that are even more extreme than they are. So, but the reason why that's happening, I mean, let's just talk brass tacks here. It's because you've got a bunch of white people that are afraid of saying that any of these Muslims are going over the line, and they're saying things that you shouldn't be saying, you shouldn't be doing. And I think it's the same thing with trans stuff, is that people are so afraid of being accused of being transphobic or Islamophobic that they ignore obvious red flags, and that ignorance of those red flags is getting people killed. It does. It's literally getting people killed. And that's the reason why it's such a problem. It's not a big deal like, oh yeah, you know, somebody is like, they don't really care about some issue. But when you have people that are going out there and they're dying for this, it's a legitimate problem. Toxic empathy strikes again. That's exactly it. And that's only true for the UAE, pull me up. I understand that, right? I mean, sure. But it's clearly not only true for the UAE, because besides that, Osama bin Laden was kicked out of Saudi Arabia. It's not like all the Muslims have like a same universal viewpoint on the way that Islam should be done. If they did, they wouldn't be killing each other all the time. I mean, let's just use some fucking logic here. So anyway, my point is that it's not about that, but whenever you look at a person's ideology and you feel like you can't criticize that ideology, or people inside of that ideology don't receive criticism because people are too afraid that it will be related to some type of criticism that's bad, then what you have is a culture that permits violent behavior. That's the reason why. Does that make sense? Do you see my point on this? Yeah. You get tongue policed, I know, and that matters more these days. Yes. People care more about sounding good than being good. And that's the fundamental issue. Everybody cares about being seen as a good person. Nobody cares about being a good person, because there's a lot of instances where it's like, you know, like your parent. How many times has your parent done something that made you, like whenever you were a kid, that made you angry at them? But now that you're like, I don't know, 25, 30, 35, 40, you think to yourself, I'm probably going to do that to my kid too. That was the right decision. I think that's a very common sentiment, and I would actually be surprised if there were a lot of people that didn't feel that way, other than like, you know, maybe like really toxic parental relationships. I feel like it's extremely common. So, yeah, it's because we said so. Yeah, definitely. All the time. And so this is a very, very common thing. And so people always want to be seen as being good, but they never actually want to do something that's good at all. And almost all radical Muslims come from Iran, by the way. They're called Shia. I understand that Iran is like that's like the nexus of a lot of it. I think you're right, but it's more complicated than that. But I do think you're right about that. It's like a different Shia and Sunni Muslim. I get that. I grew up seeing things that I wouldn't want my child to do, knowing how it made me as a feel as a kid. I think there's a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B, but the idea is that sometimes you have to make decisions that aren't butterflies and rainbows decisions, and you do that for the for the assurance and the safety of your future. You can't always be making a decision that makes you happy and feel good and feel like you're a good boy for your entire time. Like, you can't always be doing that. And I think that's what the big difference is that a lot of people don't really seem to understand, right? They don't. And so that's really what I'm talking about. You understand European politicians and immigration problems is very flawed? You're going to get pulled up. You're getting pulled up. What's the flaw? You're just saying something. If you type something vague, you're getting banned, by the way. You have to be specific. Specific or ban. Nope, no, pull up a roll. Yeah. Let's go. Generational username. Actually, it is. Yeah, you're right. How we address the elephant room and about the Desert Eagle? It's the dumbest fucking handgun you can get. It's a waste of money. Probably played Counter-Strike, honestly. Probably thought it was a cool gun. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool gun, too. It looks cool. Yeah, I mean, like, what the fuck? That's pretty simple. There has not been a single mass shooting by a trans, especially there have been very mass shootings in Canada. Okay, that's not even... Okay, that's not even what's being discussed. The flaws, do you think we in Europe can't speak our mind about being Islamophobic? It's just the governments are either making money about it or illegal immigrants are using the system. So you're saying that there are no hate speech laws in Europe? Because there are hate speech laws in Europe. And also, like, by the way, whenever I say Europe, I'm talking about, like, Germany, the UK, and France. Like, and maybe a couple of other ones, too. Like, which specific country are you talking about? They are, but they're not enforced in all European countries? Okay, so what you're saying is that there's a law against it. I don't even understand. So, but they are enforced sometimes. They are. Like, it's this doesn't even make sense. Like, yeah, how many people got arrested in the UK for fucking speech? Like, and also, like, I mean, are you trying to tell me that, like, there isn't a huge problem where there's a bunch of radical people coming over into Europe? Like, I've seen videos of it. I've seen pictures of it. Like, I mean, I think that we've all seen this. Or are you saying that everything that we're looking at is fake? Like, what are you even trying to get at? How does this even work? I'm confused. UK isn't Europe? I know that. That's why I'm asking about the specific country. Greece or Denmark, which people are able to be open about illegal immigration for years. People, especially in Greece, have been okay, so you know what? I'm going to let you go with this because I was not talking about Greece, and I know that Greece is a little bit more based about this than, like, let's say the UK is, so I should have been more specific. You're technically right. I don't like that, but you are technically right. I overgeneralize Europe regularly, and if you're going to call me out on that, I think that's fair because it's accurate. So anyway, but I was talking mainly about the UK and places like Germany. So yeah, that's fine. Anyway, I didn't want to ban the username either. It was a good username. So anyway, let me go back. I'll see if I can find any more information about this, people that are talking about it. And where is it? Stripped of crown of a transgender policy refusal. I don't know what that is. The mass shooting today happened. Oh, here we go. So they called this, this is the craziest part about it.
That includes the deceased gun person.
Okay. And separately, do you know the gun person's relationship to the...
That includes the deceased gun person.
Okay. And then separately, do you know the gun person's relationship to the...
That includes the deceased gun person.
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Gun person. A new gender just dropped. This is what they're focused on. They're about using the right vocabulary. Oh my god. Yes, and Odessa, I love you, following a prawn trap. The alleged male shooter dressed as a girl killed their family first. His family. Yeah, sure. Okay, let me go back. I hate to say I told you so. There is this. So freaking... He started transitioning at 15, was prescribed heavy SSRIs. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, for any of the people that are, you know, anti-trans or anti, you know, SSRIs or anything else like this is basically every stereotype rolled into one. This is every single thing that these people said is bad came true in Canada. They did. It absolutely happens. What is this here? Oh, I did see this. 3 men. Oh, and just real quick, I'll just talk about, just because of this one individual that brought this up. But this is in, again, the UK. And just in case anybody thinks that I'm wrong about being able to speak out about these things. In the UK, 3 British men who protested because a young girl was raped by an illegal migrant have been jailed for a longer period than the illegal migrant rapist. Man, how about that? And not the first either. Well, this is what these people do, right? I mean, it's more important to hide the problem than deal with it. And this happened today, literally. So yeah, SSRI equals bi equals bad tape. I take them to court for my general anxiety. I completely got a large sample, but I hate to take on SSRI equals zombie equals bad. I think that whenever you're talking about whether SSRIs are good or not, I think that there's a very obvious delineation between people that are, you know, underage and mentally ill to begin with, right? Because, like, you're talking about, I mean, I think that there are instances where SSRIs might make sense, too. It's the same as any type of medication. There are some times when it makes sense and other times when it doesn't. But at the end of the day, I do think that in a lot of cases, yeah, you have them that are overprescribed. And if they're being overprescribed to somebody who already has mental problems, then you're going to have a force multiplier on those problems, and somebody might pop off. It's pretty simple. So let me go back down. I'll find this and see if the rest of these are over there. Oh, here it is. The Canadian media is outright refusing to disclose the master... What?
We have breaking news that we want to share with you that's just into our newsroom. CTV News has confirmed the identity of the suspect behind the Tumbler Ridge mass shooting. Jesse Strang is the name of the suspect. That's all the information that we know, at least at this point. 10 people, again, were killed, again, including that suspected shooter. 25 others have been injured and have been wounded, according to police. We're going to have more on the shooter's identity and what we know, too, as well as the victims, as that information becomes available. Again, the identity of the shooter has been revealed as Jesse Strang. That's, again, all the information we know at this point. We will continue to bring you the latest details as we get them.
I mean, so they're not even saying... I mean, sometimes these news companies are, like, they're pretty slow to actually accuse people of stuff. But, yeah, it's almost a requirement for spree killers to be mentally ill. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really not that big of a surprise to see something like that happen. Let me go and see if I can find it here. This is him.
Parents, grandparents, sisters, brothers in Tumbler Ridge will wake up.
This is the guy that's in charge of Canada. This is the main guy.
Without someone they love. The nation mourns with you.
Yeah.
Canada stands by you. I've asked that the flags in the Peace Tower here and across all government buildings be flown at half-mast for the next 7 days.
You'll do something about it.
We will get through this. We will learn from this. But right now, it's a time to come together, as Canadians always do.
Anybody could have told you this was going to happen.
These terrible situations, to support each other, to mourn together, to grow together.
Parents, right. Okay, so this is another, like, oh yeah, let's all be sad and practice performative empathy about how bad this is. Yeah, it's sad that a lot of these people got killed. It's a fucking tragedy. But it's a tragedy that was engineered. It's engineered. And I think this is the main issue that I have, is that in a lot of these cases, these problems, like, are ignored, and they're ignored for so long that they get really, really bad, right? I mean, that's basically what happens. Loser PM doesn't do anything? Yeah, exactly. Carney also has a trans kid. That might be one of his worries right now. And JD Vance lost my goodwill. What is this? Let me see if I can pull it up and find it. What did he say? If Iranians want to overthrow the regime, that's on them. There's no way, right? Did he say that? Yeah, is this even true? He did say it February 11th. I'm gonna be honest, like, if they don't get rid of the Iranian regime, like, I don't want to go off topic here too much because we're still talking about this, but if they don't do that, like, I'm really, like, that's gonna be something that I think that it's unforgivable. It really is. And also, like, them not acting is causing, you know, thousands of people to be killed. They can't? Why not? Just, I mean, that's bullshit. I don't believe that. Yeah, it's not our problem. I get that. I don't see it that way personally, especially not after. And here's the issue: Trump even said that he was like trying to gas them up and that they would help. And now he's changing his narrative after they're being killed. I think that's really fucked up, man. It's pretty easy to say. But anyway, timing's all right. But yeah, there's more of this in general. 10 dead, including female suspect after Canada shooting. I think that really, I mean, if your focus is about getting the gender of the person right or wrong, I think that a person being trans is a factor. It absolutely is. Like, and it's a factor inside of a lot of different ways. So, for example, like, if there's any sort of, like, life-encompassing identity or ideology that a person follows, I think that in general, that ideology and that identity should be included. So, like, for example, if somebody's a huge, like an Amish person doing this, I think that should be included because it's a substantial part of identifying who this person really is. It's the same as a person that's like a professional video game player or, you know, an NFL player or somebody who is a musician or something like that. It's important data. Yeah, it's important information that helps people finally say it. Well, it's not that finally I say it. It's just like, yeah, obviously that's the case. Because I think that in a lot of these cases, they're trying to intentionally kind of hide the ball here, right? And I do think that in general, they do try to downplay the role that identity politics and these radical identity people actually have in these issues. I think they do. I think they try to downplay it for sure. Because, like, and this is just simply anecdotal evidence, but I've seen some of these videos, and, like, you remember whenever those two people were calling that black guy a house N-word whenever he was like an ICE agent? I think that they got mad like that because, you know, he thought that they were the wrong gender. And so when you see somebody fly off the handle from that so fast, I think that's pretty substantial. It is. It's insanity. They're fucked in the head. Yeah, I know. There was probably Amish in his past life. Maybe. I have no idea. So, yeah, let me go back. I'll see if I can find this, too. And what is this? There's a difference in killing terrorists and letting terrorists go? Yeah, go with Leon Black and life being in the files. I haven't seen that at all. I don't think their identity really matters. If someone commits a heinous crime, then the headline such as white man shoots people is doing so for clicks and not because someone like their race or belief is actually important to. Well, it's a very big difference, though, right? Because, like, you're talking about a voluntary identity versus a, intrinsic identity. Like, so everybody who's trans decides to do that. Like, obviously, they're choosing to take this medication. They're choosing to dress this way. This is an action that they are taking. Like, it's something that they are doing themselves versus a religion or versus, like, let's say, well, religion's the same as being trans, right? You're choosing to do this. So a person being a man or a woman, this is a default, right? You didn't choose that. A person being white or black, you didn't choose that unless you're Michael Jackson. A person that's like, tall or short or something like that, again, you didn't choose that. So that's what the difference. That's what the difference is. You see what I'm saying? Unless the culture is oppressive, though. Yeah, and definitely should be focused on the individual and not the group. Someone chooses to label themselves as, paints with too broad of a brush. Well, I think that you can do both, right? You can address the fact that they were part of a group, and you can also say that that group doesn't have collective guilt for the actions of this individual, right? I mean, I think that both of these things are true. And the problem is that a lot of people want to talk about it with an agenda. Now, I'm not trying to talk about this with an agenda. I think this is just a simple problem, and it needs to be treated that way. That's it. And I actually want to be short. Yeah. And so paint with your nose here. What the hell you mean by that? What the fuck? The hell are you talking about? Do you think the ideology and the or the hormones is the biggest factor? I think it's everything. I think that basically whenever you go and you do this, right? So, mentally ill retard plus HRT, SSRIs, guns equals big problem. It's that simple. Drugs. I mean, this is very, very simple thing to say, right? It's pretty fucking obvious. And so, yeah, like you always said, what is this here? Don't forget parent? Yeah, of course, right? And we have to stop. Yeah, you just defined all trans people? Well, I don't know if all of them do drugs or guns. I don't know. We have to stop handling the retards with kid gloves. Make an example that causes them to think twice before they act. Well, you have to be proactive, right? And that's the issue. If you see somebody, like, I'm sorry, and I'm a big Second Amendment guy, but if we have somebody who is a child who is on SSRIs doing random, illicit drugs, and they also think that they're trying to take hormones to be another gender, that's too many problems. It is, and you shouldn't have a gun. You should not have a gun. If you have that many problems, you should not have a gun. It's too risky. It is. It's extremely fucking risky. They're red flags. Especially whenever you're going out there and you're making comments, and it gets worse than that. And you're going out there and making comments talking about how, you like watching videos of people being killed. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? It's like, when are you going to call a spade a spade? It's so fucking obvious what's going on. So anyway, that's what I think about it, and I'll read a few more comments, but yeah, a photo of today's trans shooter. Maybe we shouldn't give mind-altering hormones to mentally ill people. Imagine that! No way! Yes, and if we do, we shouldn't give them a fucking gun. It's crazy how this is even a possibility, and this is in Canada. It's not even in America. Oh my fucking God. Family confirms identity of trans shooter. What is this here? The trans-identified mass murderer's mother was a trans rights activist. He murdered her yesterday before committing one of the deadliest massacres. Yep, exactly. And this is...
we believe we've been able to identify the shooter, but for privacy reasons and obviously for the conduct of the investigation, we're not releasing that information at that time until we're assured that we've connected with the appropriate people.
They've released it already, so it's hard to say, but... This is one of the people that got shot. That's really fucking sad. 12 years old, too. Oh, my fucking God. 12. Jesus Christ. And, yeah, right? Exactly. Mother was spawn camped? Well, no, the kid was. The kid was spawn camped. If you have a mentally ill, virtue signal, liberal mother, and then you end up having that that mother says, like, no, it's okay for you to take these mind-altering drugs and to do SSRIs and to have a gun. Like, I actually feel bad for the kid that did the shooting, in a way. I do, because he got spawn camped. He did. Like, he has his parents doing this. He has society telling him this. He's on Reddit getting gassed up and groomed. And on top of that, he's even got medical professionals that are trying to multiply the problem by giving him drugs. Like, really, at a certain point, there's a reason I said earlier that kids aren't responsible for their own actions. Like, you should look at the adults in this situation, and you should ask them, how the fuck did you let this happen? How didn't you see this was a problem? Always comes back to the parents. Yes. They're perfect shitstorm of no accountability. Absolutely. And just so you know now, the system's making bioweapons. This is not a bioweapons. And what is this here? I thought it was more identified school shooter. I need to go off the internet. Well, there's a lot more than that, right? Obviously. As a dad myself, I don't know how these parents can possibly handle this. This is brutal and so hard to hear about. Yeah, it's horrible, man. It really is. Who pulled the trigger is what matters the most. Humans have free will. He was 100% responsible for the act of killing. No. Like, I see what you're saying, but this is a minor. This is a minor that's done this. Do you really think that the parent bears no responsibility for not being able to identify that there's something wrong? That the parent bears literally no responsibility for this? No foresight? Yeah, you have to, and also, Like, and I get that, I get your logic, and I understand what you're saying, but I think whenever you're talking to a person, like, that only makes sense inside of the context of dealing with a person of sound mind, an adult of a sound mind. Because I think that whenever you get into a situation where you're talking about a mentally ill child, I think that we should all come to the very obvious and empathetic conclusion that mentally ill children should not be held to the same standard that a man in their, in their right mind is. I think it's very, very different. In this case, no. In some other cases, it's the other way. Yeah, I'll let this person respond one more time. Parents are the first line of defense. They're the initial fail point. Hunter was an overstatement. Parents do bear responsibility, but even if you're mentally troubled, you don't go on a killing rampage. Listen, I know that. It's very unlikely that it would happen, but I think that whenever you stack up all of these debuffs at the same time, right? HRT, being baseline mentally ill, SSRIs, drugs, and you give them a gun, you get a big problem. I think that's what happens, man. They do, but you're taking away free will and accountability. You could then say it's the fault of someone who had a rough life and commits crimes. I think in some cases that is the case. Like, for example, like schools that allow kids that are violent and aggressive and that don't behave properly, and they allow those kids and are permissive of that behavior, I do think those schools are partially responsible for that kid escalating into violence later on in life. I think that is true. But I think that as you become an adult and everything like that, you become more and more responsible for it. And I think also, like, I look at it as like a person being underage. I understand that it's their decision, but I think also these other groups should bear a lot of responsibility too. So yeah. And I'll read a few more. How old is the kid again? 17, right? Which, I mean, I get 17's not really that young. I mean, are you really a kid at 17? I don't really think so, right? But I guess that's it. At 12 years old. Oh my God. $18 is your personal age of accountability. I think that, I mean, it depends, right? So I think that is 18 a good age for accountability? I would say that, I mean, assuming you have a sound mind, I would say 16 is probably the age of accountability, right? Like, that's whenever, like, if somebody does something bad at 16, I think they should be treated as if they were an adult. This situation is different in my mind because of all of the other compounding mental health problems. And that's the reason why I'm kind of like drawing more of an exception with this. But, and I think that also, like, we all know, right? I mean, we all know, like, a lot of us, when did we really start making good decisions as an adult? I'd say, like, for me, it was like 24 and 25. Like, before then, I was fucking up all the time. I still, yeah, I don't know yet. Yeah, I'll let you know when I get there, right? Yeah, so, like, I think that really, like, for a lot of guys, you know, we don't really start making good decisions until we're in our mid-20s. So I don't think that really you turn 18 and your brain just totally, you know, crystallizes and everything's perfect either. So, yeah, can we really fully blame the parents here? The kid was so fucked up mentally at spawn? I do think so. I think that you can blame the kids. She made it through surgery. Wow, so this girl did. Holy shit. And she already's raised $42,000. That's good. And this is good, man. I'm glad to see it. Never let your kids watch anime. Wait, this is a post from 2023. Man. He fucking knew. Huh? Yep, he fucking knew. Oh my God. And on your birthday too? Oh boy. Oh, April 20th. That's not my birthday. That's Hitler's birthday. Okay, and what's this here? Just up here, it said he's actually started crying. Yeah, I mean, again, like, it's just, I mainly blame the parents. I do. I think I blame the parents for this. I think it's ridiculous and it's horrible. It's time the transgender community gets labeled what it really is. At this point, a terrorist organization. I think that here's the problem with, I think the people inside of the trans community that try to make excuses for this, right? And they try to say that's not it. I don't think that they do a very good job at ostracizing their extremists. And I've said this before, is that if a different community and an organization can't properly remove its extremists, it then becomes defined by its extremists. And I think that's what's happened with the transgender community. I think that's what's happened in some cases with the Muslim community. I think that's what's happened in some cases with the anime community, right? With like, you know, people into like weird lolly stuff, and those people that are seen as like, you know, the same as everything else. I think that's very weird. I know this is like a hot take, but I think that, again, if you allow people like that, furries, yeah, exactly, weebs, and this is, by the way, that one's much less bad than the other two. But let me go back and find it. Winning this entire world, condoning and supporting Iran for slaughtering its own people. Wait, what the fuck? And I'll look at it in a minute. You're totally right, though. Yeah. There's no goalposts with the trans community. The most extreme today is tomorrow. Islamic regime has just been elected as vice chair of the UN Commission of Social. I hate the UN. We need to get rid of the UN. I'm gonna be real. I've never, like, what values does the UN have? Like, I mean, like, fuck this. It's just every time I hear something from the UN, it's retarded. And so you're right that basically, this is kind of the big issue, is that you have a self-radicalization structure, and this is happening in both political parties in different directions, but I think that it's stronger inside of the leftist political party, like liberal political party in general, where they always trend towards the extremes. So it's not enough for, you know, people to be trans. You have to have trans representation. It's not enough to have trans representation. You have to have everybody that has compelled speech around using pronouns. It's not enough for you to have compelled speech around pronouns. Now you have to have kids that are trans. It's not enough that kids can choose to be trans. Now the kids can do it even without the consent of the parent, right? And it's just like the escalation of this is just, and I think the reason why is that I think the reason why it happens a lot more inside of leftist spaces is because of I think that the mental reasoning and the emotional reasoning of leftist spaces. So I think that a lot of people arrive at very, very left-wing viewpoints by using pure emotion. I don't think that they're thinking about it logically. They're not trying to do what's best for the most people. They're not trying to, make the world a better place. They're trying to make themselves seem like a good person. And on top of making themselves seem like a good person, they're also trying to signal to everybody else that they're that kind of person too. So you're thinking about it, and it's not like Republicans and conservatives are like that much different, but I think with left spaces, it's like much more evident, is that whenever your goal is virtue signaling, the principles and the consequences are irrelevant, right? They're irrelevant because you don't care about what the consequences are. You just care about saying the thing to make everybody think that you're a good person. And so that's the reason why there is this continual escalation of emotional blackmail. That's basically what happens. You're basically describing narcissism. I am. And the reason why is that, and again, like, there are already studies that have shown that people that are like highly attached to these social issues and like these, you know, big performative issues are more likely to have personality issues like narcissism. It's obvious because every single person that wants to be seen as a good person is going to be trying to, you know, fucking parasite into every single one of these Free Palestine, protect trans kids movements because they want to be seen as a good person. They don't care about being a good person. They want to be seen as a good person. So that's it. That's why I call it social progressivism. It never stops. Exactly, yeah. And so it's just very, very weird. Someone with a mental illness that didn't get the help they needed. Now more school children and teachers are dead. We are not helping these people. Absolutely not. Nope. And it's actually crazy to see the amount of people talking about this too. Oh my God. My country, Canada, is doomed. I think that really, why is Canada like this? I mean, I think it's actually very, very simple. Canada is like this because it's allowed to be like this. That's the reason why. And also the people, I think people in Canada, and I know that I'm painting with a massively broad brush, but I think Canada has too many people that are weak-willed, that are unwilling to address these problems for what they are. I think that they are too caught up in being polite. They're too caught up in political correctness. They're too caught up in being seen as this way or another way. And they're not willing to address problems for what they are, because in doing so, it becomes impolite and uncomfortable. That's what I've noticed a lot with many Canadians. I'm massively overgeneralizing here, but I think that it's true enough for it to be a trend in the country. Too many immigrants. Nobody wants to get deported. Well, you should have never brought in the immigrants. I think the fact that you have too many immigrants is a great example, right? Like, do you really think that a bunch of Canadians want their country overrun by immigrants? No, I don't think they actually do. But they're so afraid of the social consequence of saying no that they let it happen. That's the issue. They're so afraid of the social consequence, they go and they let it happen. We're starting a Canadian Reform Party. Yep, and a day after Charlie Kirk, liberal white woman with blue hair at my school, we're all laughing and joking about this. This is in Canada. Well, that's because, again, you have to understand that the reason why those people think Charlie Kirk being killed is a good thing is because Charlie Kirk is a ideological enemy to them. They will kill their ideological enemies if you give them the tools to do so. So the only way that you have to solve that is you have to marginalize, minimize, and completely delegitimize any influence that they have and totally oppress people that are like that. Absolute, complete oppression. Because if you don't do that, they will oppress you. And anybody that behaves like this, yeah, put them in a box. Put them in a box, put them in an institution, put them in jail, do whatever you need to do. And I'm not saying people that disagree with Charlie Kirk. I'm talking about people that are advocating for killing people based off of political ideology. You can't live in a world with people like that. If you lived in that world, they will turn your country into Somalia. That is African warlord, third world, PvP server ideology. I know you're right, but I struggle stooping to their level. Really? I quite enjoy it. So, yeah, it's fine. Listen, if people don't want to go down to that level, that's totally okay. Just don't get in the way of the people that do. That's all I ask, right? If you don't want to get your hands dirty, totally understandable. But don't complain about other people getting their hands dirty. What if they call you a Nazi? Who cares? Gives a fuck what they're saying. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And where is it here? So there has been also, let me see if I can pull up the other things about this. Yeah, mother's just a hardcore trans activist. Oh my fucking god, this is just insane for me to see this. Let me go back and make sure I didn't miss anything else about this. Asking for transitioning advice at a 15-year-old. I also think that, and this goes back into what we were talking about yesterday with Roblox and, like, you know, internet ID. Should we have, like, subreddits like r/teenagers where adults that are completely unvetted are able to have access to personally communicate with children? Is that a good thing? I think it's not. So when you have people that are identifying as being a minor, you're 15, right? We're not talking about 17. 17 is like, you know, some people are an adult at 17. It's past the age of consent in a lot of places. But we're talking about 15, okay? 15 years old. If you're identifying as 15 years old on a social media website, should you just get insta-banned? Honestly? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I do. I hate that subreddit with the notifications. Well, on Twitch, don't you? No, it's under 13. And the reason why it's under 13 is because of a law. There's a law, it's called COPPA. And that's the reason why it's the rule there. So, is Reddit liable? That's an actual subreddit? Yes, it's an actual subreddit. Male to female subreddit. Let me see if I can find it here. MTF. See if they're saying anything about it. No, even rural white voters for Democrats approach to trans over GOP. I don't know, this is about something else. Yeah, they're probably not even talking about this at all. Cis friend mistaken for trans. This is just some fucking bullshit. So anyway, I agree with you, but if you do that, they'll just start to use it to control the population. Well, no. Like, no. This is my outlook on social media, okay? I'm going to give you, this is my philosophy on social media. I said this like 3 years ago, by the way. I don't think that anyone under the age of 18 should be on social media. Period. Like, I see literally zero benefits to a 15-year-old girl with an Instagram profile. I think this is a very big fucking problem. It is a omega big problem. And I think that, again, I'm not asking for ID, But I am saying that if you have people that are identifying as an underage person, I'm not going to say 15 is a child, but as an underage person, I think that there should be an expectation that the website will automatically ban that account. And I actually think that they should be that aggressive with it. Because this type of grooming, like at the end of the day, every single time that you would ask anyone, do you want your child to have unrestricted, and unsupervised communications with an adult that you have no idea anything about them? Absolutely not. Like, at 15 is a child? I mean, again, like, I think child is before puberty. I think underage person is until 18, or minor is until 18, and then after that, you're an adult. But I think this is just vocabulary. And in the eyes of the law, you're right. Like, I think it's a silly term for me to say that a 17-year-old is a child. I think that's silly. Like, personally, it doesn't feel right saying that. But they are a minor, and they are underage, and they shouldn't be treated as if they're an adult. But you can make whatever distinction you want. So what about communication over Xbox 360 chat? I think that really it kind of depends, right? But I'm talking about social media. Like, you can go into, like, video games, but I think that really you should try to approach things based off of, like, which ones are happening when that's happening, right? And teen dude, well, I mean, 19 is a teen, but 19 isn't 13, is it? Like, I don't want to get into details with this. I think everybody generally knows what I'm saying. But my point is that I think that you shouldn't have kids on social media. Because when you have kids on social media, what ends up happening is they get groomed. You have people that are messaging them that are adults. You have those messages that are not being, properly vetted by their parents. And something bad could happen to them. That could easily, and it's not even something bad. Sometimes you just have a conversation with somebody and it's just a weird conversation. And even if nothing bad happens, do you still want your kid having, unsupervised communications with somebody who could be a pedophile? Fuck no. Absolutely not. So, a 14-year-old kid, absolutely not. So I think they should just ban anybody who says they're under 18, and they should just get rid of all these subreddits that are made for underage people. And if you self-identify as a minor, I think that you should be having your account banned. That's actually what my opinion is. And I think that there is an exception to this. And the exception are for platforms that are made for children, things like YouTube Kids. Because YouTube Kids don't have comments, they don't have peer-to-peer messaging, and they don't have any other form of, like, weird communication that a person can get at this kid. Like, I have no problem with kids using the internet, but I do have a problem with kids making accounts and then communicating with adults in an unsupervised way. That's a big problem.